close up everything here so I can. How y'all doing? I think today, let me see if I can do this. I tried to already do this video, but it didn't work because I was using my GoPro and my GoPro sucks. So what I'm going to do here today is we're just going to kind of go over an old lock. I don't know what kind of locks most other people come across. I'm mostly Kwikset, Schlage, Brinks, stuff like that. The usual standard residential, commercial stuff. And I say this all is most of what I'm talking about today is residential. But bottom line is, when you come across some of these older homes, they don't have the old Schlage Kwikset hardware that you usually come across. You'll find some of those old stuff like this, where it's made by, like, well, for this example, this one here, it's made by National. National is actually, I think it's bought by Amerock. I'm not sure. It's Amerock is the company. That's who manufactures it, but they also, as I read historically, they have used Schlage and Amerock chassis to support their die-cast decorative hardware line, and they presently own the national lock patents. And this is as of a while back. I don't know where it is now. Anyways, but you'll find all kinds of. They'll have to say Amerock name or Schlage Aero or National Lock on the chassis, but for the most part, this video I'm doing is this lock in particular has already been covered by SC Lock and Key. I haven't really seen anyone else talk about it, so I thought I'd kind of bring it up because it's pretty far down on his timeline. If you want to look it up, you'll find it. But it says National there, and sometimes the deadbolts will say National. There's two different plug sizes as far as diameter. So if you use a follower to follow the cylinder out, it'll be either the 450 thousandths, which would be this one, and the 50 thousand or 500 thousandths, maybe half inch, would be used on the deadbolt. And they are a different size. You can kind of see the deadbolt is bigger. Of course, that is the face, but the actual body itself is too. So let me move some stuff around over here. So what we have here, I'm not going to worry about the deadbolt. It's pretty much standard. I mean, and the knob will be the same. You can slide this back. I'm going to recommend you do this. There's easier ways to slide this back, expose the springs and the pins. And I'll go ahead and pull this out so that you can see the workings of the actual cylinder itself of this part. And I don't know if I can. Some of these, like the old Schlage, you could turn the key and push that button. Sometimes they won't let you. Sometimes you got to turn the actual handle. And this one here, you actually got to turn the handle. And so I'll turn it. You got to hold the body, turn it, and then should be able to push it. And then basically it's going to have to be unlocked for you to be able to do this. So let me see if it'll let me do that right there. Maybe not there. Let me see here. I think I actually push it in. Let me get this through here. And this here is, there it goes. It did work. All right. So the key, if you see, that's part of the booger you'll see about some of these. When you have that style where everything's inside here, it's hard to get the key in or out, and it'll move around on you. If you can see how it doesn't line up very good on there, you can kind of move it until the key pulls out. So right there will be 90. Kind of pull on there. And it's always something, so that should pop out. Just like that. And you can get lost in there. You don't want to get that sideways off in there. That could take a few minutes to pull that out. So I'm just going to do this real quick here. If I can do it, not lose it in there. I hate that. Anyways, yeah, there it's kind of going. It's kind of a tight fit. This hasn't been really messed with in a while. Let me see if I can push that down. So basically what you gotta have here is the spring caps are going to be inside there. There, it slides out just like that. And so that is a smaller, that is a 450 thousandths diameter. So what Jason did was he knocked the pin out, and that is one way you can do it. You just knock it out, put your follower on there. Once you pull the plastic cap off, put your follower up and you can push it on. Or you can pull this off. And this can be, you got to be careful, because what'll happen is Sometimes you do this and the springs will shoot out, and I think I contained them. And this spring here looks like it's a little wonky. So let me pull this out. Let me get my little tool over here so I can get this all in the right order here. Spring. I did lose a spring here a while back on this one here in particular. So there is, they can fly out pretty quick. Yeah, as with any lock, they're all, you always gotta be a little careful. So that one there, what happened was I took a regular spring and I cut it down. Sometimes you're gonna have to do that. If you lose a spring, that's your differences. The one on the right here with the point, that's a spring that's natural to the national, and the one on the left right there, I had to cut one down. So we'll put this right there. And I'll see if I can zoom in the pins. See, there's a top and a bottom, top and bottom. I'll see if I can zoom in here. Give me a second here. Let me see. Some of them want to come out on their own. I'll put that right there. That's where that went. That. Probably that. I probably got them mixed up too. Put that key in there. Maybe that'll help knock some of them out. There they go. Now I'm not too worried about it. It's only going to go away. Okay. Sorry about that. I accidentally dropped my phone. So everything's clear out of here. There's nothing left in there. I'm not too worried about the order of the pins because the tops are tops. The bottoms, they're all the long ones. And there's a one that's a smaller pin and a deeper pin. And so let me show you something here. There are books that you can get that cover a lot of these old locks, and this one here is what I use a lot of times. And the National Locksmith Guide, Door Lock Encyclopedia, still in print. You can still get them. Robert Seifking is who has that. This one here actually covers National. I'm not going to go over the whole spill about it, but that's how come I know it's a 441D lock set, because he already did the homework for me, so it makes it easy. But that's your spacing, your depth and space. Even covers the deadbolt, which I have exactly over here. I'm not going to show you everything in the book, but the depth and space, they are, pretty much, it may not be exact. I know I measured some of these pins. They weren't exact what I would have thought they would have been, so to speak. They were 2-3 thousandths off, and of course these could be very used too. So, what you do on this, I'm going to try to do this without knocking my phone over. And so you can kind of tell which one is the shallow one. It should have been shallow. So this one here is definitely the shallow. There we go. And that would definitely be the number 4 right there. Let's see if I can zoom in. Somehow these got all jangled up. And I'll have to get my magnifying glass because I almost can't even see these things. Goodness. Yep. So anyways, let me see here. Let me get another flashlight. Hold on just a second. We got a light above me, but it just doesn't really give a good point of reference. There, how's that? There's some lighting. So with that, that's how you can go ahead and do that. You can swap them out that way. And this here, let me see. And as I'll do, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. So just drop them in. I can kind of see down inside there. You can kind of see down inside there. We're just going to put it back together. That's pretty much, if you want to use your own pins, that works fine. Let me see, it should be 3. That still has a good shear line. That's a good shear line there. And then a smaller one right there. Just going off what I remember the key to be. Just drop them in there. And everything's got a good shear line. And, if you have a shorter pin, then you use the shorter of the top pins. So I'm just going to drop that in. The rest of these, they're all kind of short, actually. I'm looking at them. I'm pretty sure that's where that one was. And on these, I mean, we just dumped them just for showing you this on the video. It doesn't really, it's not really going to make too much. I mean, I'm not worrying about master pins or anything like that. But you do want to make sure everything's going to fit right like it's supposed to. And that one there is a little weird. Sometimes they get a little mashed where they won't go in all the way. Alright, I think we got it. Maybe that'd be the one that needs the shorter one. The rest of them look good. That one there on the end's kind of weird. So, that's it. Just put it in, I guess. Alright, then you do your springs, of course. What I'm going to do is just kind of put them together. We're not really doing a whole Rekey video. I just want to show you exactly the different designs of National. This is pretty much the basic one that I see around our area. Okay, excuse me, I had to go take care of something, and I dumped it and went ahead and had to redo it again. Some of the springs I also wanted to replace too, because it's been part a couple times. I had this spring kit here for some of the different types of locks. Anyways, I don't know as far as the springs are concerned what the ones I would need for this. And I just match them up for whatever works. And these seem to do the job right here. These would be the best in Falcon springs. But we're going to go on ahead and just use these. So the story behind this lock, we had to go to a house to rekey for a guy whose brother had sorry, here, let me get this redone here. Guy whose brother, the guy was older than me, so I mean, I don't want to. He's actually his situation was he's a member of law enforcement. He called us, needed us to rekey his father's house. I'm like shooting springs all over. So the guy's probably in his close to 60, upper 50s, close to 60, and he has come out and rekey his father's house. His father had let his brother, this member of law enforcement, his brother move in, who was probably just a little bit older than me, but not as old as him. And he passed away. But before he passed away, he had his daughters move in with him too. And the whole thing with this younger brother moving in with the father was to help him because he was a senior citizen and a veteran, and he needed someone to kind of help out with some things. But the brother just put him right into the VA nursing home right off the bat. And I don't know the whole story, so I'm just telling you what I understand. And so before he died, he had his daughters move in, and when he passed away, the younger brother passed away from a heart attack. All of a sudden, his daughters assumed that the house belonged to them. Well, the house didn't even belong to their father, the younger brother. The house belonged to the senior, the older one that was actually in a nursing home. And so he was trying to get out of the nursing home when his brother passed away, or when the senior man's son passed away. I don't want to say their names, that's why it's kind of hard to explain. But when the old man passed away, he told his granddaughters to get out of his house. He didn't want them there because he kind of heard that they trashed the house anyways, and was letting other people stay there and everything else. So he wanted them out of the house. And so the son that he called was the one that's a member of law enforcement who helped. He called me to go ahead and have him gain access to the house because when the one brother moved into the house, he'd also had the locks changed, so the older brother couldn't go in and see what was going on. And anyways, it just turned into a mess. And when we was there, we opened the doors. We had to get through the door, pick open one of the locks. And well, it was a doorknob and deadbolt. And I noticed this was on there. It's like, well, I'm not gonna mess with this. It would have been easy anyways. I mean, it's pretty decent bidding, but we went ahead and gained access to one of the Kwikset locks they had. And so we went ahead and started counting up the doors. Well, then the cops show up, and they detained my son and me and the officer that had us there, who was in his civvies. And he's an officer, of the law, but his job is actually to transport prisoners, to like Leavenworth. We're pretty close to Leavenworth Prison, the federal penitentiary. Anyway, so when we got through all that, you know, and I have my authorization forms for verification to be able to work in this type of situation. And I always suggest, you know, you have, you know, when you do locksmithing, that you use something like this, like an authorization release form. You know, it's something to kind of protect you, to say that, you know, you are authorized to work on this. Now, the guy I had his driver's license. I vetted him. You know, I don't usually do lockouts, but I thought, you know, my schedule's changed. I'm now, you know, 4 days off from the factory I work at, and I only work 3 days, and it's just 3 12-hour shifts, and they make you whole for like 44 hours, so it's not a bad gig. So I went ahead and got into that, and so now I'm free Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to do locksmithing and focus on that. So that's what I've been doing. Just been working as much as I can, doing locks and rekeys. But yeah, when the cops detained us, it was like, okay, you know. So my son, that was like the first time that ever happened to him. That's actually the first time I've been arrested we weren't actually arrested. They detained us, you know, where they handcuff you and check your ID, make sure you're good, and then they let us go to do our job. They apologized, said the daughter seen us on a security camera on the outside of the house, which I did notice that, but the brother said that the power was off to the house, and he didn't know how they was able to do that. But when you got in the house, the power was obviously on. But make a long story short, it was all good. My son needed to kind of see that. That's kind of one of those things you get into, a little domestic disputes. The officers asked us if we was a part of that mess. I was like, nope, not our mess, not our circus, not our monkeys. We just happened to be the guy they called to get in and gain access to the place. So I don't know if those springs over there in that box over here, I just throw them in here because I know that's about the same size as they were. And so once you get this key, this lock rekeyed, when we got in, and I told him I don't want to rekey this stuff because he wanted all keyed on a KW1 keyway. So I went ahead and sold him some Kwikset keyway hardware. And I mean, we was in a hurry to get out of there actually, because that having the cops there kind of it made it take longer to do the job. And I changed my pricing, you know, to go by my hourly rate's higher. And so it's like, I'm still breaking even with, you know, whether you charge by the keyhole or the hours. So I went up to 100 an hour, and then 25 per keyhole, because, you know, I figured 15 minutes, you know, average. I mean, usually it's quicker, sometimes it's longer, and you get in all these weird situations, but it still equaled out to about the same, you know, how long it took us to get out of there when the cops had us detained and everything. But we got through that, and, you know, I'm bringing this up because that's the story of this hardware. Anyways, the old man he's been there from the beginning of the house. You know, he had this old national stuff, and they got rid of all the other national stuff. I think kind of neat to have had. The guy told me I could go and take this because he had no use for it. And it's not a bad hardware. You know, the national, it actually pretty decent stuff. Got to watch out for that. You can't slide this out of the door while it's, you know, in the unlocked position. You got to actually extend it, and then it slides in and out of the door. That spring will hang up on you. It's not bad hardware. I mean, it's decent case. You know, when you deal with this stuff, you got to kind of push in on this to help it line up in there so it'll work like it's supposed to. The deadbolt was a different diameter. It was a smaller diameter than what's common on the deadbolts now. I think, let's see what that turned out to be. Yeah, so there's your dimensions on that. It's 1 3/4. And so, you know, instead of 2 1/8 or 2-inch holes. But, yeah, a lot of this stuff's a different size. Actually, when you look at it, most everything's 2 1/8 now. You know, the hardware, the Kwikset stuff I had the big, you know, security, you know, the big metal plate inside there that allowed you to get on the door. So we had to force that on. I didn't want to run back out and re-drill the hole. It actually worked out fine in our favor on that. Something also to say with the 450 thousandths diameter small cylinder for the knob, when you go to the deadbolts that are national, it's a different depth and space. You know, everything's just a little bit off. It's a little bit because it's a 1/2-inch diameter. Same key, but 1/2-inch diameter. And that's, you know, it's interesting, you know, when they do that. It's where that rides. It is the exact same thing as that. But that's kind of the way that works. So let me see here. I'll slide that back in. Make sure you don't slide that cap off. There's a little detent right there to kind of hold it on there. It's just as easy to pull this off. I know Jason already showed it, knocking that pin out and putting it back on. I didn't want to do that because I figured I'd just be a little bit different. And, you know, just do it a different way that you can do it. There is detents in here you got to make sure you get through to put that in. And then, you know, as the old saying goes, kind of want to keep a key on there just to kind of hold it from moving around. But, so when you get that back on there, here's the tent right there. Cylinder, everything lined up where you want to do it. And you just gotta kind of feed that on there. There you go. Find that slot that was right there. See that slot? Push it in like that. And I'll probably have to turn the doorknob to do this, so let me do this real quick. And hard to do on the camera without shaking the camera around. Okay. And there you go. And that's that. And that's how it works. That's how that works. So that is that. That's what I wanted to go through. That book also covers Sergeant 8 line. If you look at one of my earlier videos on this channel, I covered that. And I mean, that can be a bugger. I mean, these are very cumbersome to deal with. You got to knock the pins out. That's the one thing. A little bit different on there are plug followers that are designed for the Sergeant 8 line. And so I'm not going to cover all that. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble with copyrights issue stuff. You know, I show his Robert Steve King stuff because I like the books that he has. You don't find a whole lot of books like that. That's why it's neat to show that. I don't remember if I showed this one either. I do have this. I have the PDF too, but this one here, this is aluminum style door service and repair. This covers about everything. I mean, it's a great book. It covers all the different stuff. Table of contents, you know, I'll see if I can get to here. And maybe won't show table of contents, but great book. I think I've already covered this one anyways, but just kind of wanted to show you. Never can have enough of these books. You know, always good to have hardware books that cover that stuff. And I have all kinds of other books that cover different things. Simplified locksmith procedures. This covers all kinds of other interesting hardware. Key cutting data for different things. Office equipment. This is an old book. I like to get on eBay and I'll find these old books on there. That's what all this covers. And there's all kinds of great stuff. So, with that, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Sorry I don't put out a whole lot of videos. I just try to do enough to kind of keep it going. But I get kind of bored. And most residential commercial locksmithing is kind of boring. The install commercials are usually, or the install videos is what I usually go looking for whenever I'm looking for stuff myself to learn. Let me put this book up real quick. But for the most part, I mean, when I want to look up something like this on the Rekey specs and stuff, I mean, SC Lock and Key, he's probably the #1 out there that posts a lot of this stuff on there. But I try to post some of the weird stuff you just normally don't see anywhere else. But anyways, so with that, I'll go ahead and get off here. Good to see everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
On a turf, and I went out with so-and-so. Forever name I threw out. He said he'd been out. He said he'd been out. He said he'd been out.